Hello, YouTube. It's been a long time. I am finally back in my studio and I'm getting used to having everything set up and ready to go. Um, I hope you guys can hear me okay. I hope the image quality is okay. Um, I'm glad to be back. I really am. So I'm going to start with a song that had a great impact on me while I was in Bonham. And now that I'm back home, I'm going to do my best to get through this. That yes, this is a review, this is not a reaction. I have heard this song a lot of times. And yes, it has been documented on every reaction channel known to man. I am not new to this, and I am not piggybacking off of anyone. This is simply my take on it. It is a song that I want to have on my channel. So, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for bearing with the long introduction. Um, I do hope you guys enjoy. This is Dax To Be a Man, the mega remix. I used the Dax To Be a Man original version in my graduation speech at Bonham from PTSD. For those of you that don't know, I've spent the last 5 months in substance use disorder treatment, PTSD treatment, and I have come out a much better person as a result. I've made a lot of progress, and I continue to do so every day. So, thank you for those of you that are still here, that didn't bail on me during this turbulent time. I've had a lot of moving parts. I had a lot of moving. I had a lot of cleaning. So, without further delay and further ado, let's get started.
Too much pressure on my shoulders.
Sorry, let's try that again. Start that song over. By the way, the first artist up is Atlas. And although they don't go in order, I will try to point out names as I go.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. Too much pressure on my shoulders, it gets tough to be the person bringing in the bread and be the lover that you need for self-care. Yeah, I had to let go. I'd be lying if I told you that it never takes a toll on my mind. I need someone to save me, but I have to be the one who's saving you. When you're exhausted, I'm the shoulder where you mend. Gotta stay strong, what can I do when I can't hide my...
So, Atlas has a very strong voice, and it is a very valid argument. It's a stigma that's been put on males specifically to be the breadwinner, to never show weakness, never show pain, never show anything. I know that the use of substances is a great way to, it's not a great way, it's a way to hide pain. For those of you in recovery, there are other ways when you feel like reaching for that substance that you can overcome it. Tools like an ABC model, which is the activating event, what triggers your initial distress, B, the behavior or the feelings that come with it, and C, the consequences. So for instance, if the activating event is I get in an argument with my spouse because I don't feel like I'm getting the love and attention that I want or whatever, My behavior is to become upset, to become angry, or to use. And then the consequences of my action are a myriad. If you're drinking, there's DUIs. If you're using, there's God knows the implications of using are endless. So as an when the activating event triggers, when you and your spouse get in an argument, my recommendation would be to, instead of reaching for that bottle or that substance, turn to that person and say, hey, I feel like I am not an equal partner in this relationship. I feel like I'm not being heard. I feel like I'm not being felt. Set that boundary, make that expectation clear, because if that person isn't willing to respect your boundaries and isn't willing to meet your expectations, chances are it's not going to get any better. And I don't say that to split things up or break anything up. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. Okay? All I am trying to present to you at the moment is solutions that I have found that worked for me in communication classes and being assertive with other people since I've been home, who have in fact offered me substances. So let's continue.
Myself, I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
I will say this, I have struggled mightily in relationships most of my life because I was not willing to be assertive. I was very passive and I let people take advantage of me for the simple fact that I didn't want to rock the boat. Having gone through everything that I've gone through the last almost 6 months, that look on his face is the despair and hopelessness I felt going in for treatment. So I am coming from a place of personal experience when I bring these things to you. This is genuine. This is real.
I know a lot of men don't feel the same, but I don't feel ashamed letting the water fall when my heart's ablaze. Daddy taught me that was how to put a fire out. So when I'm hurting, I don't mind to cry my eyes out. I only have a few examples of a man in my life, and only one who made perfection lifelike. So I try to remember 2 words when I don't know what to do. Don't forget Jesus wept, and brother, so can you. I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand. I just hope.
So I wanted him to finish singing because he's got such a powerful voice and a powerful message. Whatever your spirituality may be, whatever your religion may be, or if you don't have one, just remember that whoever that strong presence in your life is, ethereal or grounded, just imagine that they can cry, so can you. It's a human thing to do. And men have been so stereotyped into this role of, we're not allowed to cry. Oh, we're not allowed to cry. Cry. As long as you can feel the emotions, just don't become them. My case manager used to say that to me all the time. Feel the emotions, don't become them.
I can't explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. I said Solomon. make sense, cause everything I feel, I keep it, cause it's different for men. We talk about our feelings, we're called oversensitive. We're asked to strike a balance, it doesn't exist. So we bottle everything up in our minds. We grow cold, dark and numb as we slowly die. You ever wonder why it's mostly men who commit suicide? We figure why now we're already dead. I can't hide myself, I don't expect you to understand.
I've been to that place of emptiness and that unaliving feeling. Twice. It's led to some really personal moments and some really rough times for me, but I'm glad I'm still here. I'm glad that I didn't follow through, because honestly, maybe I didn't know what my purpose was at the time, but Viktor Frankl says suffering ceases to be suffering when we give it a why. And the why is that we're here for a certain amount of time. We may not realize it, but a simple smile, a simple hello may make the difference between someone being here or not. And just being good people and being another person able to, provide that goodness to someone else is imperative.
I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
You picked me up when I was broken. You pieced together words that were not spoken. You found a way to see me as I was, even when the world doesn't show you the same love. You're expecting to do everything on your own, providing and hide all the feelings that you hold, but your heart is deserving of showing. I see you for who you are. I hope that you know it.
I can't hide.
She has an amazing voice too. I'm pausing a lot. I'm trying to interject just a little at a time, but I'm pausing a lot because I've seen a lot of people get blocked on this video for the various artists that are on here. I don't want that kind of trouble on my channel. You guys know this. But I do want to point out that her and the other female that are on this track giving their honest to God opinion of, the fact that they are supportive shows that for those of us who've spent so long jaded about women and the imbalance, that there are good women out there. You just have to find her. It's not impossible. It really isn't. But work on yourself first. Love yourself, know yourself, set your own boundaries and limitations. Because when I was still seeking approval instead of perspective, I didn't know what I was looking for. So even if I had found it, I wouldn't have known what to do with it or how to handle it.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home. I know we all got decisions to make, but it seems that my decisions cause division. I hate this pride. I break inside, but I cannot cry, cause all I wanna do is provide. I was made for this, I'm a father of 7. My oldest is 20, my youngest 11, and they all gotta eat. So I bury my feelings and stay on my feet like they hide myself. I don't expect you to.
And what he said is true. A lot of times, when it's just crunch time, when it comes down to really wanting to just be there, get it done, and go, we repress our feeling, we push them down, and in the heat of the moment, that may be an okay solution. But don't forget, once you clear that heat of the moment, to take a moment to breathe, to do therapeutic exercise for your mental and emotional well-being. In the heat of the moment, you may not have time to be processing those emotions right away. Bruce Lee says, in the time of crisis, we don't rise to the level of our expectations. We sink to the level of our training. So emotionally and mentally, the more tools that you have prepared ahead of time that you can do right there on the fly, keep training, keep going, keep processing, keep thinking of all the ways that you can make life better for yourself and for others, so that when you get to that crunch time, you're automatically doing it. Maybe you don't even realize you're doing it, but guarantee you, if you process those tools and stick with them, do it daily exercises, whether you're doing them in your head, whether you're writing them out, doesn't matter. Now, really quickly, his voice is absolutely beautiful.
Understand, I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Yeah, patiently waiting for God to show me signs I need. I'm not the man for the job, all the things I can't be. Put all my feelings aside, I think that I'll be better off when I'm not alive. Fought through depression for years and I try to hide it. Almost put pressure and pulled it, but I decided to give it all that I can. But this what it's like to be a man. I can't hide myself.
Fix has done some amazing Dax work, remixes. If you check out his Instagram, it's absolutely incredible. And he has his own original stuff too. He has kind of the MGK look going, but definitely not the style. I like him so much better. In some of his faster stuff, you can definitely hear and feel the Eminem influence. But again, he is his own person, and I respect that about him. And again, the message, we all struggle. We all have difficulties, and it's a matter of how we overcome them. Because either we do and we live happy or happier, or we continue to be a victim to our own circumstance. And yeah, being a victim to your own circumstance is never gonna end well, because it's all about taking responsibility for your actions, owning them, owning your bullshit, taking accountability, and being an adult, being responsible. It is possible. It is. I'm not negatively denouncing this song by any means, because I know how each of these people feel. I've been there at various times in my life. This is me going through wave after wave of emotional experience, and then trying to provide the tools and techniques that I have personally used and implemented in order to challenge these mentalities and help me to be a better person and overcome it.
I don't expect you to understand. I I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
As a man, if you show your emotions, they take it for weakness, ain't nothing new. Teaching my son to be mentally strong and prepare for the battle, he ain't even two. Being a father is lit, but I gotta admit that sometimes I don't know what to do. Provide and protect was the name of the game I was playing for you, and you know that it's true. Unconditional love and reality, but you can't take a look from my view. A lot of my days were blue, but that dog in me, so I fought and you didn't have a clue. When I had it, we had it together, but now we divided, your colors are true. I shouldn't have to ask for no help if you knew I was struggling, I would've did it for you.
I can't hide myself.
Don't even have to ask. If I was struggling, I would have done it for you. Unfortunately, the only people we can control in our lives is ourselves. But I get it. I get it. Oh my God, do I get it. I've done and done and done to help people that were ungrateful, that expected it from me, that took and took and took until I had enough. And you know, it was like when things were good, they were great, but when they were shitty and bottom of the barrel, I was on my own. I was on my own.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
I'm sorry, I never knew all the things that you go through. I never meant to put your pain aside. Didn't mean to make you need to hide. Those demons in your head, they'll tell you you're less than. But I'm here to tell you that you're more than perfect. Don't let the voices make you think you're worthless, 'cause you're worth it. You got this.
I can't hide myself. I don't expect you to understand.
Her voice and her lyrics absolutely give me the chills. See, I struggled with self-worth and self-image for a very long time. And really quickly, the problem is that I was relying on what's called conditional self-esteem. What that means is that my definition of who I am was based on how other people perceived me or told me who I was, as opposed to unconditional self-worth. Now, unconditional self-worth is how we see ourselves. So, if the people that surround us all have negative self-images and they push that off onto you, that is going to leave you feeling that way. But if inside you start developing that self-worth of who you are, who I was as a person, and I hold on to that for dear life, and I let myself know every morning, you're better than what your demons think. Only then am I truly going to believe in myself, instead of relying on other people to tell me that I'm a good person. I have to believe it for myself in order for that to happen.
I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I had to cut the video and splice it at this point because YouTube blocked it. But without further delay, we're going to start at the end of this young lady's video and continue with the rest of the song. And I appreciate your patience.
Man, it's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know.
a man requires you to hide the pain. You find yourself inside a hole you can't get out, even though you wanna shout. The pain is just unbearable. Oh, no. I just wanna cry and be given a hug and be.
That right there is one of the most important lines in this song, where he says, I just want to cry and be given a hug. Because it's very, very difficult for men to be vulnerable enough to show emotion and not be afraid of repercussions, but then just to ask for a hug. Something that's simple, but it's not. It's not simple.
Told everything will be okay. I have a family that depends on me. Oh,
I can't hide myself.
And he has a family that depends on him. Again, we go back to this notion that men are required to carry the burden of the relationship on the shoulders. And honestly, that shouldn't be the case. If you're feeling that way, talk to your partner. Let them know, hey, I feel like I'm carrying this on my own. Help me. It's hard to be vulnerable, but it's even harder to crumble under all that weight.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Look, as a man, they expect you to be strong and someone to lean on, no matter what you're dealing with. I just lost a couple friends to drugs, and when I woke up in the morning, man, I really wasn't feeling it. But I gotta.
Just lost a couple friends to drugs. For anyone that's been in this life long enough, we all know what it's like to lose somebody to overdose or to unaliving or murder. None of which is pleasant, and none of which any of us want to live through. So what he talks about in this verse is key.
Try to bottle the pain, but when they took my son away, I had to try to find a will to live. Put in 5 whole years at the job, then I got laid off, and the news had me feeling sick.
And losing his son, whether it was the court or whatever the circumstances were, losing your child for any reason is incredibly hard. It's a very emotional experience. If you haven't had to experience it, I'm glad for you, because it is not an easy experience at all.
I've been drowning in the deep end. Anybody wanna give me a reason? I don't even try to bother with a social life, cause I would rather be alone on the weekends, chilling with my demons. And I try to suppress the depression and need of a blessing, cause I'm really about to lose it all. Just remember that I try to be a man when you lose me, y'all, and I'm gone.
I can't hide myself.
Yeah, I mean, working your ass off day in and day out, minimal gain, minimal return, and after a while it feels purposeless, and it hurts and it sucks. But we have to give ourselves purpose, give ourselves meaning, reason to continue on, because it's important. It's important that we never give up on this process. We may not see the purpose, but I guarantee you, you're better off here than you are on your own, or trying to unalive yourself. Trust me, I speak from personal experience. I will also say that I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. I am strictly someone who has been there, done that, has learned from it, and I want to pass this message on.
I don't expect you to understand. I just hope I can explain what it's like to be a man. It's a lonely road, and they don't care about what you know. It's not about how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
So thank you for joining me for Dax. This has been the Dax To Be a Man Mega Remix, and it is probably one of my favorite. It's eye-opening, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And I hope that with this edited version that YouTube will let it fly this time, because I feel it's critical to get out to everyone. And with all of that being said, and as always, I love you, I care, you are not alone.